This is my 2019 Ford F150 Raptor, and I put it on Turo. I put it on Turo right after I bought it. Yeah, everybody wants to know the numbers. We'll get there, we'll get there. So I bought this truck used with about 50,000 miles on it, and I've now owned it for a little over a year. And I am currently sitting at 76,000 miles on this truck. People use this on Turo, they like to drive. One thing I have learned while renting this out is the winter drivers don't drive it very much. They drive up to the ski resort, they drive back and forth from the ski resort to their hotel, and then bring it back to the airport. And that usually accounts for maybe 100 miles over a week. But in the summer, people like to go explore the outdoors, and they drive it a lot. But of course, everybody wants to know the numbers, so I'll just get those out of the way now. I'll pop up the screenshots of the last 2 months, but it roughly brings in about $1,350, $1,400 a month during the peak seasons. I do have activated Turo's automatic pricing. So what they do is they say, look, this is a high demand weekend, we're gonna raise the prices for you. Or this is a really slow time, we're gonna drop the prices for you. And it's not perfect, but it does work pretty well. And based on last year, I'm gonna raise the prices in the summer because it is driven so much. Now it is mostly stock. I do have a Cobb tuning access port on here, just a stage 1. That gives it just a little bit more power. And I did change the wheels and tires out. It came with some 20-inch wheels with mud tires on it, and I changed it out to 17-inch wheels with the same size 35-inch all-terrain tires, and it's so much quieter, smoother, and personally, it looks better. So right now I'm in between rentals. However, this thing gets rented so much that I rarely have the vehicle for more than 12 hours or so. It just goes in and out and in and out. That's what she said. And I have to pick it up at the airport, clean it up, get it back out to the airport, gas it up, rinse and repeat. How many other part-time jobs are you going to find that make you $1,400 a month where you only have to work maybe 2 hours a week? And that's exactly why I do it. Now, over the last course of the year, putting this on Turo, I've only had a few minor issues with the truck. One was the battery. Somebody actually went out of state to this very rural area and the battery died on them. So I had to talk to an auto parts employee and say, hey, look, can you replace this for them? Because I'm several hundred miles away. There's no way that I can get down there and replace the battery for them. And fortunately, they didn't. The other thing is the infotainment screen. That is a very common issue on the F-150s with these Sync 3 systems. The APIM went out. That is a module that sits behind the screen that controls a lot of functions, and it goes out and just renders the screen useless, and it does it at random. So sometimes you'll just be driving along, screen blacks out, and it won't work again until you either pull the battery cable, or as a renter actually found out for me, there is a procedure to reset it, and that did require a decent amount of disassembly of the dash, but I was able to get that fixed. The other thing that I have had an issue with is the fog lights. Now they are an aftermarket fog light, and they worked great until I got into a little fender bender in this, and it wasn't with a renter, it was me driving, and a car just pulled out in front of me, backing out of a parking spot. Wasn't liable for it. Ever since then, the fog lights droop. I know the bracket itself had to be repaired, and it must not have been repaired very well because, yeah, no matter how much I tighten it up or try to pin it in place, the fog lights just rattle and droop down. And frankly, I've stopped trying to fix it. The other thing that I have problems with renters are the floor mats, which are just awful to keep clean. I actually just bought a new set of floor mats. We'll see how those hold up. They're not easy to clean, and even when they are clean, they look haggard. But of course, the other thing is smells. Definitely have issues with smells. Sometimes they just wear way too much cologne and it stinks up the entire vehicle. Other times you have to deal with BO. You do want to invest in some interior smell deodorizers. Honestly, I've grown to love this truck, and I'm actually really sad that it rents out all the time. But it is really nice to have that income coming in rather than it just sitting in my driveway. Because although I do need a truck on occasion, I don't need it that much. So should you buy an F-150 Raptor and put it on Turo? Well, that's a personal question for you, especially with today's interest rates. But for me, at least for now, it is worth it. Of course, there are some creaks and rattles that have shown up over the last year or so, but for the most part, it's been trouble-free, and largely, it's been a good experience. I've never really wanted an F-150 Raptor. I know that's unusual for a lot of people to say, but turns out I love this truck. Previously, I had a Ram 2500, and I wanted something that got better gas mileage, smoother ride, had a sunroof, and had more power. And if traffic clears up here, you're gonna see it moves. size of truck this is. I love how much power it does have. Of course, I'd love it if it had more. But at least for the time being, a Raptor R is out of the question. So there you have it. That is my Turo journey so far with my Ford F150 Raptor. As the mileage goes up, I may reconsider keeping it on there. But what would you do if you were in my shoes? As always, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and make sure to check out some of my other videos. I'll catch you on the next one.